Well, the funny
We'll
part
do it
is,
live.
before we got on, hey, it looks like we're live. Evan and I were talking, we were just kind of talking to each other like this.
Yeah, how was your day?
Oh,
Yeah,
you were talking like this, like,
It was,
I mean, I kind of like
okay.
those potato chips I had today for lunch. I mean,
yeah.
really.
What if we did
It's kind of hot. They were warm.
What if we
too,
did a
because it
whole
was
entire
so-
live
it
stream
was
just
so
like
hot
this?
out. Made my chips warm.
I weed whipped your lawn. I butchered everything down. That's okay. You like it? we're gonna have a good one. I can tell that this show's gonna be pretty good.
Oh, bother.
Oh man, we got 3 guys on. I can tell you who's watching the 3 guys. We got Phil, we got Cameron, and Rowley. Oh man. Oh, 4 guys. There we go.
All right.
We'll let this cook here for a minute. Usually these big guys who live stream, they'll sit there airing for like 10, 15 minutes and then however many piles in the room. Yeah.
Yep.
These
They
are
just sit there.
we are shooting from the hip today here. It's with these live shows. There's not much prep. Oh no, I did not fall off the Segway today. I'm getting that down better. I adjusted the knee steering, Cameron, like a little 1/4 inch up more, and I'm starting to dial it in. What was that thing you were talking about, Cameron, with the Segway? Some software to use to, like, there's a problem, Aaron. So Segway works great for trimming. I'm getting pretty good, but it's got this thing where you can't go up hills there too steep because it has an auto tilt, and if you go too fast, it'll auto tilt you back, so you can't trim and going 12 miles an hour.
And you know what it's like being on auto tilt.
Scary. I've already beefed it twice on it, but Aaron complimented me though and said, "Nice tuck and roll." Got to learn
a
it, right?
helmet.
Yes, sir.
I need to wear a
You
helmet
got to
for
tuck
that.
and roll.
Stop, tuck, and roll. Is that kind of like that? No. Stop, drop, and roll. Yeah.
Remember when we did those fire drills in school, Aaron? I don't know if you did, but we had
Oh,
some
I
fire
did.
drills where we did the stop, drop, and rolls.
You had
Yep.
to do stop, drop, and we never did that. Fire
We
drills.
were-
We just
we
got
were
out.
special.
We just got outside. That's what I did. Walk down the hall, get outside. I'm older.
Walk
And then,
down the hall,
did you
get
guys do
outside.
tornado drills?
Oh yeah, those were fun. We would waste a whole bunch of time.
Get under the. Did you get under your desk?
Yeah, we did, but then some. Well, that was fire drills that we go outside. Then the tornadoes. We'd all bunker into one part of the room and hide everywhere.
So when I was growing up in school,
Yes.
our buildings were like little double wide trailer things, they called them portables.
Mhm.
And so I went to this little teeny tiny Christian school, but there was this old house that was kind of next to the school, but you had to walk like, I don't know, a little ways. It was probably 200 yards. So when we did a tornado drill, we'd have to go over to these people's house and go in their basement, the entire school. So it was a very small school, but we all had to pile in their basement because it was the only place that was like enclosed enough for a tornado drill.
Did they have the doors open in the cellar where they swung out, or did you actually get to walk in the house to go to the basement?
Oh, I think it was the cellar doors, like the ones that are
man.
outside.
Yeah. I always thought those were just, as a kid, those would just be scary. You're getting swallowed up by the basement.
Yeah.
So,
Basements were built safe. Those Michigan cellar basements, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
those were. I thought those were like basically indestructible.
what movie was it I saw where the guy was trying to hold the door shut?
It was Twister.
Was that in Twister?
It was the first Twister
And he
because
got sucked
Netflix they came out
he
with a
got
remake.
sucked right out. Yeah. Yeah, I'm holding the door. It's kind of like Seinfeld's old line where he's got the guys going down the road with the mattress on the top of the car, and he's holding it with his hand. I'm using my arm. So.
Phil says, "Well, help. Well, help." Oh, hello. There. Phil's saying, "Hey."
Well, help.
Howdy, Phil. Phil's been blowing up my phone.
Oh, that's good.
Well, he's been blowing up everyone's phone, essentially.
We could all get better, Aaron, with the titles. I struggle right there. Some of the text comments today, I'm like, "As Phil," like I've
good that stuff, man.
Like good it's like I can produce okay content, but when it comes to like telling the story and getting the title down and the thumbnail, I'm like, I'm not always the greatest there with that. I
Yep.
just send you the thumbnails. ABC tested. That's what Phil's Lawn Care says. Oh
Yep.
yeah, I mean we could do the. You give Phil.
I saw
hit-
those, Phil. I haven't looked at them yet,
Oh,
but I
man,
saw the
I gotta hit the
message.
gas station. I gotta hit the dumper.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna kind of do like a variation of that with the burrito, and then Cameron, guys, if you don't
Oh,
know,
the burrito.
breaking news, guys, breaking news. Subway's first lawn care guide that they've ever endorsed is Cameron Duncan with the Lawn Care Life. And so we can we have a 10%. So any Subway tomorrow, if you go, tell them you want the Missouri discount, and they will hook you up. So
I want the Missouri sub.
yeah, what is the
They
Missouri
should name a sub
Yeah,
after Cameron.
they should.
The Missouri sub.
So what is the Missouri discount? Is that what we?
Yeah.
Missouri. Okay.
Any Subway that's participating, which is probably none, but any Subway that's participating, I'm gonna go try it. You know, I actually, Aaron, you ever tried Jersey Mike's?
No. We have out here. We have Jersey Giant, but
Jersey Giant.
they-
Interesting.
I mean, and their subs are like 1.5 feet long. Like they are big. So every once in a while I'd stop in there and get a large, like a foot long, which is like 1.5 feet long sub. And they were really delicious, but they had a very delicious price. It was,
did
they
they
were
really?
like, you'd walk out of there with just a sandwich for like $20. It
Oh,
was
man.
crazy.
But that would probably fill you up the whole entire day, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
And
Jersey.
it
There
was so good.
Over in the Lansing area.
Is that the
there was
team who
one-
Jersey Mike's? Probably. That's actually pretty funny. Then Cameron, we have Jersey gloves. Man, Jersey Mike's, and then pot. Okay, Aaron, because we're all from Michigan. Potbelly. You ever had Potbelly subs? Or
No. I've never
You know,
been
that
to a
might be a-
Potbelly.
That might be a Metro Detroit thing, Greg. What do you
I
think?
believe it is.
Oh.
It might be. They haven't branched out yet. So
Because Potbelly is another restaurant, right?
sounds like the
Yes.
Five Guys of
Bandit.
subs.
It's like
It's like the Five Guys.
it's a
subs.
fondue. The
Oh.
Potbelly thing is a fondue restaurant, isn't it?
It's kind of like a gourmet fancy subs, but they're really affordable, and you can rack up points there easily. I think like my wife and I, like we've gone there, like we go there like twice a month or once a month. We have like 4,000 coins, and we can get a whole bunch of free meals. Like the coffee shop. So you have Cameron, who's obsessed with his subs, Phil, who's going to start opening up his own burrito business, and then me, Bigby Coffee. I think you know Bigby, Aaron. I've been loading free drinks on there, so I have like 3 free drinks loaded on my card. So you buy 12 drinks, and your 13th is free. So I just keep loading up the free drinks. I haven't used them. I'm pretty boring. I just drink plain black coffee, nothing special to it. That's what gets me through the day with mowing, and a lot of water too. I pounded through a gallon of water today, and I didn't start till late because I was upgrading the shocks on my truck. Now, Aaron, you got that nice Ram 2500, so you don't need to upgrade anything there on that truck, right?
Well, not true. Not true. Sorry guys, I gotta turn down the ceiling fan. Whoops. I'm getting blown out here a little bit. So Rams, you have a Ram, right, Evan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Rams, their back suspension is it's pretty flexible, shall we say, because it's supposed to give you a smooth ride, right?
Yes.
Well, so far I have Timbrins on the back of my truck. It's like a suspension assistant or something like that. So what it is, it's bump stops that come almost all the way down to the frame or the axle. And that's supposed to help you with towing. And it does. I got those because of our camper. We have a 30-foot camper.
Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's right.
And so that does help. However, when you're not pulling the camper, it makes for a very rough, bouncy ride. So I need to get an upgrade of airbags. But of course, my situation right now, there's no airbags for a long time coming.
You're fine. Hey, and you talk about it all the time on your podcast, Aaron. It's so happy that you're on here tonight because these live streams are great, and you are you're rebuilding your lawn care business from scratch, and you're slowly picking up. Hey, this takes time too. It's
It
never
does.
easy. The properties that you have, it sounds like you have some. You're cutting some acreage, aren't you?
Oh yeah. I've got, I think my biggest is 5 acres, maybe. Might be more than that.
Mm.
I haven't measured it, so I don't know for sure. But these are some big farm properties. So there's a lot of acreage that I'm cutting these days, which I didn't think I was gonna like, but I actually really like it because you pull up, you only do maybe 5 lawns a day,
But it's nice, right?
but you're sitting there, you're working on one property for that long a day, and it's nice. It's nice to not have to run around all the time. Now,
Mhm.
you are standing on, if you're like me, you have a stander and I like standing,
You got the Bradley
but
stand on, guys.
you're standing for a long time. So my feet have been having to adjust this year to all the standing that I'm doing.
Oh.
Raleigh Spencer asked me the other day through text uh, what percentage of weed eating I do compared to mowing. And I
Yeah.
told him some high number. I don't remember what I told him, but it was wrong because I actually kind of watched what I was doing this week, and it's like I do way more mowing than I do trimming. so I stand on the mower a lot, which is nice. I do admit I really like it. But
Well, it was all a lie.
but
Hey guys, Fern Hill
it's
Farm.
nice.
Hey, Fern Hill Farm. I don't know who that is. It must be someone. This must be one of your subs there in Fern Hill Farm.
Thanks
I don't
for
know.
joining us.
Thanks for
I
joining.
don't know
this.
who that is, but
Yeah.
thanks for
Thanks for
joining.
coming on,
Yeah.
guys.
So yeah, I mow a lot of grass these days.
How long does it take you to mow that 5 acres?
Probably about 2.5 hours with mowing and
Okay.
trimming.
So you're about 20 minutes, half hour an acre.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
No, I
Not too
use a
bad.
52, so
Ooh.
it does take longer just because of the 52. That's what I have, so that's what I use. I really want to upgrade to a 61, 61-inch Bradley.
Mhm.
However,
Oh,
they
yeah.
are in the process of putting on a 36 horsepower engine onto that, and they're not releasing that until the spring, I believe. So I'm waiting to upgrade
Yeah.
until that comes out.
Waited out for that. That's
Yeah.
huge difference, I think. And we've been working with this 52-inch uh, Bobcat with a 26, and I've got a 61-inch with a 26 or with a 26, and I can see a difference with the 52. How much better, how much less it has to process, and how
Right.
well it's throwing the grass. So yeah, if you get a 36, is that what you said?
Yep, 36 horsepower. Right now, mine is a 25 as well, or 26.
Okay.
So yeah,
61-inch with the 36 horsepower. I think Bradley was doing it right there. Simon, isn't he basically like in charge there? Aaron?
as far as I know, he's like the lead engineer. He seems to know every single part on a Bradley mower. That's what I really like about Bradley mowers. You can't call Toro and talk to somebody that knows what
Nope.
they're talking about. You can't call them and they can they're not going to be able to explain to you how to fix something on your mower. If you call Bradley mowers, you'll get to the right person, whether that's Simon, whether that's Brad, not the Brad, but just Brad. And they're
Hey,
both
Brad.
great.
You should have called him today, Aaron. Before you hopped on, Greg and I were doing our monotone mower man voice. Hey, Brad. Hope you had a good day. Hope it didn't rain.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if you
Hey.
could help me out, maybe.
Hey, Greg,
Brad.
can you go butcher that lawn or scalp it for me? Oh, just a little bit. Anyways, though, but what it was cool with your first thing, Bandit asked, Aaron asked us, answer this first. Is there a market for quality over quantity? I see too many wham, bam, thank you, ma'am services around. So he's basically saying, is there anyone that does good work because there's too many guys that just trash lawns? What do you think?
There are a lot of guys that trash lawns. In fact, when I was moving out of Lansing and closing up the business there, I was trying to recommend a company, just some company, to my clients. And it was really hard to find a company that was good at communication. They did good work and they took credit cards and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Um, and they were reliable. Like, you want those four things, really. I mean, you don't have to have the credit card thing, but as long as they communicate, they're reliable, and they do good work, that'd be great. But those three things, it's almost impossible. At least it was for me, to find somebody to recommend that had all three of those things. I would recommend a
It's
company
tough, isn't it?
to my people, and then I would call them up and say, "Hey, I'm going to send a lot of my customers your way. They're going to be calling you," and then they just never answer the phone, or they don't return calls. And my customers were coming back to me saying, "Who else can you recommend? I don't trust these people." So there's the lawn care business is mostly not about the work. It's mostly about communication, and
Exactly.
and doing what you said you're going to do. I mean,
That's
that's
tough.
what all business comes down to, essentially.
That's
You know, it's
I'm
funny. I was looking
yeah.
at, I had clients that were asking me about plowing, snow plowing, and
Hmm.
because I don't do it, I just no interest in it. And hey, can you recommend a plow guy to me? Well, I give the name out of somebody, or I give them name and reach out to somebody, and they don't call them back. They don't call back. Finally, I've had to go to my clients and say, look, I'd love to give you, because if people still ask me, I'd love to give you the name of a plow guy, but I can't, because nobody makes any calls back, and it's very difficult. It's very, it makes me look bad, and it's very frustrating. So I just have to come out and say, sorry guys, I can't give you anybody to recommend.
Yeah.
I was saying the
Yep.
same thing. I've had clients, Aaron, who I mean, I've had to drop them, and your Lansing customers were pretty upset that you were moving, but I mean, like they were basically begging you to stay. You're like, no, I got to move. And clients have asked me who do you recommend, and I sit there and I'm like, I don't know who to recommend because I don't know who will show up. A, for one, and B, if they do
Right.
show up, they're not going to cut it like I would cut it. They're not going to cut it like Aaron would cut it. They're
Right.
not going to cut it like Greg would cut it.
Hello, this is Greg.
So it's like, what do you? You're kind of in the tough spots. Like, I'm sorry, I'm in good faith. I don't want to recommend anyone to you because that's kind of like a poor reflection on me of who I chose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree.
I mean, and you do have to consider that some of these companies out here, they're bigger than our companies, right? We're
Mhm.
we're one man shows.
Yeah.
We can put more detail into our work, right? We can spend a little bit more time. I mean, within reason, I guess. We can be a
Yeah.
little bit more picky because it's us that's doing the work. Whereas these companies, like, they're kind of out there unsupervised a little bit.
Mm.
Even the crew supervisor, or whatever you want to call them, like, they're just trying to get through the day too. Like, they're not invested in the company. They're out there trying to get a paycheck, right?
Yeah.
You and I, we're invested. Like, if we don't
Amen.
if
Oh
we
yeah.
if we don't do the work correctly, we're going to lose these people. We're going to lose the money. So we're invested.
Mhm.
We've put our skin in the game. These other your employees, they haven't. Even if you try to create a good company culture and all that stuff,
Sure.
all of that flies out the window. My Where my wife works, so they're a big company, okay, and they tried a whole bunch of stuff after COVID to get people to come back, because they basically put everybody to work from home during COVID, and so they started remodeling their buildings. They put in ping pong tables and coffee shops and these restrooms where you, like, not a bathroom, but like a room where you go and you can, like, take a nap.
But like a
Like,
lounge almost or
seriously.
something, right?
Yeah. They do all this stuff, and they try to have these parties for their employees and things like that. None of the employees care about that junk.
No.
None of them do. They are there because you hired them to do a job, so they get a paycheck. They're not invested.
No.
And so when you hire an employee, that's their first goal, right?
Mm.
They're there to
Yes.
get a paycheck. Then, once you understand that and you're willing to deal with that, now you have to try and convince your employees to care, right?
That's tough.
That's the issue that a lot of these companies are running into, and with all the turnover that they go through, because, I mean, this is hard work. It is not easy,
No.
right? It's not easy for me to stand for 8 hours a day on the back of a mower. It's not.
No.
Nobody in their right mind is going to want to do that. for the money that I pay myself, right? So that
Exactly.
my business can survive. And so but we have skin in the game.
Oh, sure we do.
They
Big time.
have nothing. They'll leave it with a drop of a hat. We've all heard the stories where guys just walk off the job. You're in the
Mhm.
middle of a
Boy.
lawn, they set down the trimmer and they walk home or whatever. You know, it's that whole thing. And so somehow you have to engage your employees enough and have them interact with your clients enough where they feel like they are invested in your company too. So maybe that's profit sharing if you have any profit to share, different things like that. It's about
I feel
money, right?
I feel like the
It's about
employees.
money.
I drive around and I see employees working for other lawn care businesses. Number one, it at least look like you're a human being and not a bum on the street. Okay, that's the first thing. Number two, it's like I've tried to talk to the, like I give the we give it we all do it here, guys. The lawn care bro wave, like you're driving by. And these guys lack social skills. They're like invalids. It's like talking to a wall. It's like my cat could like entertain you more than when I'm trying to engage people. And then you see these employees out there with you working, and the client comes and talks to them, and then they're not very forthcoming of what the client said, or the client made a request, it was through the employee, and then they don't tell you until like 2 weeks later. Oh, so and so told me this 2 weeks ago. I'm like, oh, it took you 2 weeks to like tell me this, and so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I can't even really refer anyone in the area. So like this one lawn, this lady made me stop mowing it. This is client 7 years, and then last year she's like, stop mowing it in mid-September. Okay, so I did. I mean, Greg, we don't stop mowing in mid-September. Like we stop mowing at the end of October, Aaron. Like end of
Halfway through
October,
November, past couple years.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, and then this year
There-
she goes, don't start mowing it until the end of May. And I'm like, you're nuts. It was 2 feet tall. So I said, we'll just call her Barbara. I said, Barbara, I said, okay, this is not how it works. I said, find someone else. And then she's like, can you recommend someone? So I just went on there and Google and shot her a recommendation. I based the recommendation off of their stripe pictures and like decent ratings. It took me 5 minutes, but I'm like, next time I'm not even going to recommend. It seems like they're doing an okay job at cutting it, but
I wouldn't even have gone that far at that point. She's telling you to. I mean, how many weeks is that? So the end of May, so that's 6 weeks there, and she wants you to stop in what, September, end of September or mid-September?
yeah, she wanted
So
me
that's
to.
another 6 weeks. How much were you charging her?
I was charging her. It was $40. Now it probably would have been 40,
That's
43 or like
$480 that she was
Yeah.
taking out of your
Mhm.
pocket because of she didn't want to pay her bills. So
Yeah, she just ticked me off there though too. But point being said, Aaron, it's too hard to recommend anyone. I'm glad that I work for myself. So
Bandit One. Did you see Bandit One
asked a
if
good
you
question,
turn down
Aaron.
business to lawn due to lawn conditions, it'll never look good enough to want your name attached to them. Interesting question.
Um, actually, yes. Let me switch this around here. So when I was in Lansing and I was pretty new, it was probably my 3rd year in business, and I was still kind of taking on whatever I could get. And so at that time I was still taking on biweekly lawns.
Mm.
And this small house, it was on the north side of Lansing, and the north side of Lansing is kind of rough. It's a rough area, very run down.
Mhm.
And so I went out there and I was cutting this thing, once every 2 weeks, and these people were gross. Let's just be frank. They were gross. And pretty much.
It's true.
So
Right on
they
the line.
they actually would throw their leftover food out in the backyard. Just
Oh,
take
boy.
the pan, chuck the food out in the yard,
Huh.
and then, when I come, I'm just supposed to mow over it. Just supposed to mow over this junk.
Some
And
guys
of course,
do that.
being new in the business, and I didn't have any mentors or anything, so I'm like, well, I need the money. Let's do this. This lawn was
Makes sense.
crappy. It was so junky. It was just
Really?
weeds. There was no grass in this thing.
Mm.
And the last straw for me, what made me finally drop these people. So it's a little different, Bandit One, than what you're asking, but along the same lines. The one thing that drove me absolutely nuts. So they started buying plants, potted plants, in their driveway was, beside the house, and there
Oh
was a
boy.
very small spot where I could get my 42-inch residential zero-turn mower through there to mow the backyard. And they were putting potted plants
In that
right
path.
in front of that.
Huh, huh.
So every time I came, I had to move those potted plants to get to the weed covered backyard.
That would drive me crazy.
And
I thought it
then
was a food covered backyard.
it was that too.
Oh no,
And
this is like a
dog
bad
poop
combo.
covered backyard, by the
Oh,
way.
Ah,
And so then I came, so they did that one week, and then the next time I came, they had bought, those oh my, I could almost curse on here, but I'm not gonna. The solar lights. Do you guys have anyone that puts
Oh.
solar lights
Oh,
in the
no.
grass?
I
Oh,
trimmed
they
those
are
over.
such
I
a
mowed those
mess.
over before. Someone put them like this is like I had a client who put the circular solar lights on top of the grass because they wanted them to sink into the grass. I'll have to send you guys a picture. This is like 7 years ago, and some lights finally sunk into the grass and they were metal and they're buried. And then others I just mowed over. Anyways, solar lights drove me nuts. Yes.
Yeah. So what they did is they bought these cheap solar lights, and they have a stake that you stick at the end of them. They stuck them in between those potted plants right there where I needed to go. And I was like, I mowed the front lawn. I turned around, I packed up my stuff, and I left. And I texted the guy the right after I left, and I said, I'm sorry, I can't mow your
You're
lawn
fired.
anymore. I just can't do it. And
You
this
fired
guy
him.
he flew off the handle. Like, he's like,
Oh, did he really?
whatever. This is what I envision him saying in his text. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was like, he said something like, "You're the worst lawn guy ever. I can't believe you." I was just like, "What?" And I used to be a very nervous person, especially
sure.
back then. So
Oh,
so
was
I
too.
was like, I'm just done with this. I just put the phone down, and I'm like, I'm not even dealing with that anymore. And it was hard for me to do that because that's not the type of person that I am, but it felt so good to drive away from that lawn and never go back.
Yeah, but
So
what did you pick up after that, though?
exactly.
Yeah, you
I picked up a
few
lot of
lawns.
different things after that.
You were thinking about this song, right?
That's
As
right.
you were
Yeah.
as you were driving away. you're like, see you later.
Yep.
Man, some of those lawns, well, as back to what Bandit was saying, okay, some lawns I wouldn't take on if they're due to the conditions. If there's too much trimming or if stuff's all like on a slope, or you can never make it look good because the client thinks that they have to water it like 8 days a week, which is not even 8 days in 1 week. Like that's something some certain lawns I just wouldn't take on if there's way too much trimming and stuff that's like annoying. Like you had one, Greg, that I think you had, but maybe you dropped or something that was just.
Yeah, I had one lawn that the guy, it was a nice lawn, but I spent a half an hour trimming, and this should have been a 45-minute lawn.
Oh,
And
boy.
then the guy, what happened was was a problem is he had a lawn service, fertilizing his lawn, and he forgot to cancel the previous year's service. So he had two services come out and fertilize his lawn at the beginning of the season. And just for good measure, he decided to go out and fertilize it again on his own. So within probably 2 weeks, his lawn was fertilized 3 times. And I'm trying to cut this guy's lawn, and finally I just said, look, I've spent 2 hours on your lawn. This should be maximum 45 minutes. And I gotta, I'll finish out the month for you. I had like 2 weeks to go. I'll finish out the month for you, but I can't cut your lawn anymore. And but the other thing was the guy had dogs. He had 3 dogs and 2 boxers and a little one. But these dogs were tearing up the lawn. It was just his lawn was a mess. He had a pool, and the pool was real close to the grass, and it was a nightmare to mow. And I finally just told him I can't do it anymore.
Sounds like a perfect
this is
lawn.
terrible. So, but no, it was a nightmare. The guy was nice. I was very business-like when I went up to him and talked to him about it. And I said, I can't cut your lawn. I'm sorry. And I already cut 6 or 7 lawns in that neighborhood, and I was making pretty decent money. The guy even gave me more money. He doubled his price. And I said, honestly, this is 2 hours. I would have to charge you $180 to cut your lawn. And
Oh
I don't
boy.
think you want to pay somebody $180 to cut your lawn. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was something.
You ever deal with the dreaded pools, Aaron? You ever mow around
Oh
any
my
pools?
goodness. You have no idea. So,
Oh,
um, there's
do tell.
there was I've had lawns where the pool they didn't put sand down. They just put it on the grass.
Hmm.
So no mulch around it, no nothing. They just put it on the grass and they want you to trim around it. And I'm like, well,
Nope.
I'll get kind of close, but I'm not getting very close because those Intech pools,
Oh, yeah.
like the cheap ones, you hit them things with a string trimmer, they're going to split open like a grape. I mean, it's just like it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
The water's
So-
just gonna fly out everywhere.
Oh
we,
my
we
word.
actually had one of those. And what we would do in the fall is when it was time to empty it, I would just push down the side of the pool and all the water would just kind of go billowing out. And then we had a huge slip and slide for the kids. And we're just taking runs and leaps and sliding across the lawn. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, Luke Goodwin asked this, or Cameron has one, but how are you, Aaron? How are you selling your Ventrac work? Because he's about to pull the trigger on one for utility restoration. Just trying to figure out how else to market it and sell the specialized service of the machine. Now that you've kind of gotten the system down of you have your Ventrac days, Aaron, where you're going out and bidding jobs. How do you do that? It's probably kind of tough to do because there's a whole bunch of other guys probably trying to vying for those bids as well.
Actually, well, my line of work, there's not a lot of people buying for the work. That's partly why I got into it because it's high dollar and there's not a lot of competition. Now you do have your excavating companies that you're kind of competing with, but they're using different equipment, right? They're using skid steers, they're using, heavy equipment sometimes to do these driveways. And a lot of times they have the dump trucks and all that stuff that they have to pay for too. Whereas with me, all I have is the Ventrac, the power rake, the tough cut, and the power bucket, right? So that's all I have. I call in the gravel and I have it delivered. So the customer pays the delivery fee, they pay the gravel fee, and it just works for me that way. Now, how I'm getting the jobs is mostly, well, really all on Facebook community groups. So if you go into your local, if you just type in and search your town, the town closest to you,
Yeah.
they probably have a community group or two, and you can join that. Now they do have rules for businesses a lot of times where they only allow businesses to post or advertise once a week, but take that on, do that, right? Maybe shoot some video, like just with your smartphone and put something together that's kind of 30 seconds to a minute long and just advertise your business that way. Take before and after pictures of your work. If you get a job, say your first job. So with my first job that I ever did with a Ventrac, I did a video on it. Right? I did a video
That
on
one
it.
did pretty well, didn't it?
That one did not actually do so well. I didn't title it very good, but that same day I did that really nasty driveway. I think, did I? Yeah, I did that nasty driveway the same day, and that one did really good. It got like 94K views or something like that.
Holy smokes!
Now I did it wrong. I did the driveway wrong, but I still filmed it, and it got a lot of views because I filmed it wrong, because it was extreme. And that's exactly why I haven't done a video like that since, because I figured out that I did it wrong. And
Wait, you did the
when you
job wrong or
learn
you did the
something-
video wrong?
I did the job wrong.
You
Okay.
probably got lit up there in
So-
the comments, but the engagement paid you, so it didn't matter,
Yes.
right?
Right. So, and that's part of it too. You're going to learn if you post a video, you're going to learn. A lot of people commented on the video things that they saw that I should have done differently. Now, you get a lot of comments where just like, man, you did that wrong or whatever. Yeah, okay, but you get some constructive criticism on your videos as well. One of the things that I did, this job had huge mud puddles, very big mud puddles, and they were full of water.
Oh,
And
goodness.
we had just gotten a rain, and I didn't know what I didn't know. So I just worked up the driveway, tried to push that water out of the holes with the gravel that was there, and worked up the driveway, got the water out of the holes, I thought, but really, basically what it did is just mixed in that gravel and it just made it mushy.
Like a
Mm.
soup,
And
like a chili.
it never got solid enough to set up. And so when we got another rain, that big pothole just came right back.
Mm.
And so I didn't know, right? I didn't know what I didn't know. So now I carry around with me transfer pumps. I have one that I plug into my truck, and I have a battery operated one
Oh,
from
really?
Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
And you stick those in the hole, you drain the water out, and the repair goes much better. So anyway, so YouTube can be a two-way street, but definitely I would say get in the Facebook community groups. For me personally, I have like a 60-mile radius around me where I do driveways.
Mm.
Now that's not what I do for lawn care, right? I
Oh,
try to
no.
keep lawn care as tight as I can get it. Now I'm gradually, because my business is growing very slow,
Yeah,
I'm gradually
it's growing, though.
expanding that out
Yeah.
because you
That's
just
good.
have to.
Right.
Man,
So-
Aaron, like,
Remember,
live.
Phil said you want you want that route destiny.
Yeah, that route.
he say
that's
destiny? I was
Yeah.
reading it quickly. Aaron, I don't know if you'd be interested. If we do have any, even in Metro Detroit here, if there's people that need some gravel work done, I can shoot them your way. That's probably a little bit of a drive, but you said depending on the drive, I mean, you can make some money, but you'd probably have to charge a tad more premium getting down this way, wouldn't you?
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a problem.
So how do
Yeah,
you
so-
how does your cost cover compared to the excavator guys? I mean, you only have limited equipment, I guess, for lack of a better word,
Yep.
compared to
Yep.
what they're bringing. So that massively reduced your costs compared to them. Are
Oh,
you
absolutely.
20% less, 30%? What?
Oh,
on
I'm
that?
probably way more than that. Less.
Really?
I'm probably 50% less
Oh wow!
at least.
Holy smokes!
I'm charging about $200 an hour. I I estimate to get more than that, but that's kind of the goal, is at least $200 an hour. And then on top of that, if we're adding new gravel to the driveway, which that's one thing with the Ventrac power rake, and any power rake really, it doesn't have to be a Ventrac power rake. It works up the gravel in such a way where sometimes you don't need to add new gravel. Now, here where we're at in Michigan with gravel driveways, they're getting plowed in the winter. Usually, some of them, not all of them, but some of them do get plowed. And of course, if you're plowing gravel, you know what's happening with that gravel when you plow it. It's getting shoved off the driveway.
Yeah,
So
it's
you're
going
going to
everywhere.
have to eventually add more gravel. So if we're adding gravel, I charge, what is it? I think I charge $15 a yard extra to spread the gravel once it's delivered. Now,
How do you figure out
that's
that rate?
even if they tailgate it out and get it pretty smooth. I'm still charging an extra $15 per yard. And that works out pretty good for me to make what I need to make per hour to spread it, because I can spread it pretty quick if it's tailgated nice. So that's kind of how I work that. But yeah, Facebook community groups is the way to advertise it.
Okay.
because
Have you ever
Craigslist
got
is
the next
dead.
door, the next door app.
I have not, in my area here, Nextdoor isn't even available.
Oh,
So I tried to get on it, but it wasn't available. I haven't tried since then, so I don't know for sure if it's still available. I've heard conflicting stories about Nextdoor, because they're basically a lead generator for you, and so it's basically the cheapest and the fastest to get there. And I'm usually neither of those, because I'm not glued to my phone all day.
Yeah.
So
Sit there and
that's also
troll
a
it.
trend. That's a trend that I'm seeing with home services on Facebook as well in these community groups is more and more people, instead of going online and Googling a company near them, they're going on Facebook and they're asking the community, I'm looking for recommendations for someone to cut my lawn. And then all of these lawn care people who must not have anything to do are on there and they're all commenting. they're all like posting their link or whatever. And I'm like, well, I'm like 37th down the list. I'm not going to get
the problem.
there.
Yeah. We have the All Things Livonia page here, Aaron, and they have like Monday Business Monday. Oh, I'm looking for someone to cut the grass, and you have like 120 people. Oh, Johnny down the street can do it for you for $10, and then you have like Jose be like, I'll do it for 50, and he shows all his pictures of doing it for for like better work. But how do you price out, like, how'd you figure out how to price up like Ventrac work? I mean, it was an hourly rate kind of in the industry of what you thought was kind of standard. I wouldn't know how to do, like, even price out like a gravel driveway. Oh, say it takes you 4 hours and you charge $200 an hour. Like, there you go. You can just do the basic math there. But it's like that, I wouldn't even know what to charge.
Well, it was difficult at first, but Cameron Duncan, I think he's in the comments. I think he's still in here. He was a big help. Yeah, he was a big help with getting pricing together. And once I had a feel, once I was making money with the Ventrac, I kind of came up with my own pricing scheme. I call it a scheme. It's not a scheme, but that's the only word I can think of.
Program.
Program. There you go. That's a better word.
We just changed your life.
Yeah. So what was I going to say? So I kind of figured out, like, when I measure a driveway, like I measure every driveway. And I didn't used to. I used to just look at it and estimate it. That was a bad idea, because sometimes I lost my shirt. Other times I made really good money. But now I measure every driveway and I figure $2 a foot gets me almost exactly where I want to be every single time. And usually it gets me quite a ways past that. So I'm usually making more than $200 an hour. Wow. I'm usually making about $250 an hour with driveway work. And so when you figure up your price, it's not all just a bunch of stuff. It's also, you got to factor in the cost of your machine, the cost to repair your machine, the cost of the teeth on the drum, everything. And Ventracs are not cheap. Like, nothing is cheap with a Ventrac.
You did an overgrown job, Aaron. Didn't you back up the Ventrac and do like a stump?
I did. Yeah. It almost threw me off the tractor. Like, it was that I hit that thing hard. And what you didn't see in the video, but was super funny, was, so I backed up to that stump and I turned my head. Well, I was turning my head because the person that lives in the house was standing on the porch watching me, and he was dying laughing. He about fell off the porch. He was dying laughing so hard. And I was like,
at least someone thought it was funny, right?
He was.
It's like falling off a cliff. It's not the fall that kills you. It's a sudden stop at the end.
I was on the Segway the other day. I already talked about this. And this guy has a pretty sloped backyard. And I was just I was figuring out what I can actually use it on. And there was a guy, a client, he was working there in his backyard, but he turned his back and I like beefed it off the Segway. And I got back up and like, well, that was my second fall. I kind of hurt a little bit, but that's okay. So sometimes people like the entertainment of you getting hurt on the job, but not actually hurt.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So measuring the driveway, you're saying if guys are getting into this, it's good to actually measure it. Don't just try to eyeball it.
Oh, absolutely. Because what you want to do is, especially with driveways, and it's true here in Michigan, but it's probably true everywhere else, that when you measure a driveway, you want those measurements so that if you have to order gravel, you've got them. You did the estimate. You got the measurements at the estimate. Now, if they request gravel, you have all the calculations, and there's guys on Google, there's calculators for everything. So just type in gravel calculator, you type your numbers in there, and it will spit out an accurate number. Like, that's what I use, and it's very accurate, and it's crazy. So
how are you determining depth then? Is it you got a 100 by, I don't know how long your longest driveway is, or let's say it's a 100-foot driveway by what, 25 feet, 20 feet,
Hmm.
and then you need you got a bunch of potholes and stuff. How do you determine how deep you're going to make the gravel, or how much gravel to get? Are you looking at the potholes and all that too to determine, or what?
Not so much the potholes. I generally take a guesstimation on the depth.
Okay.
Usually it's 2 to 3 inches
Okay.
of depth that you're going to need. Now, there's some that I've estimated. There was one driveway, they had a really steep hill going up to the house, and they were getting a constant washout there. I
Mm,
didn't end up getting this job, but I quoted bringing in like 10 inches of gravel
Mm,
to grade that slope so it's more gradual.
mm,
And obviously, I didn't get that job because they didn't want to pay that amount of money,
no.
but it was an expensive job because it wasn't done right the first time. So yeah, you just kind of, for the depth, it's actually pretty easy to just eyeball it. You could measure it. You could bring out a tape measure and measure it,
mm.
but by and large, you're gonna 2 to 3 inches is gonna be pretty
Okay.
good, unless you can really
It's like
see where
mulch.
it's really low.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna have to bring in 4 or 5 inches.
Using a wheel to measure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Okay. All
yep,
right. By the way,
yep.
I noticed Greenscapes Ohio said here that you were talking about Nextdoor app that you couldn't get in your area, but Nextdoor has been great for us for Greenscapes Ohio. It's just like Facebook. Cameron from the Lawn Care Life in, oh, I have,
Moziri.
there we go.
I found it.
He wanted to know where he was at because he wasn't sure how well it was working. But Greenscape said it was a small rural town, but a big 20,000 resident city nearby. So maybe eventually you'll be able to get some next door stuff going there. But
Yeah,
did you
I'm gonna
try it
look
in
into it
Lansing?
again. What's that?
Did you try it in Lansing next door?
No, I never had a need to try it in Lansing. In
Okay.
fact, in Lansing, I never even used. I didn't even use Facebook to advertise in Lansing. All of my work came from Google, my business, and my website.
Okay.
Now, before that, when I first got started, I started with Craigslist. So, and that was back when Craigslist
Primitive.
was free.
You just
So,
love Google Business, Aaron. I mean, you could do a whole.
oh
Aaron should do
man,
a spin-off podcast called "I Hate Google Business." He could probably do weekly episodes and go
Yeah.
live
How's that
about
going, Marin?
it.
oh, terrible.
I can hit the
It's
mute button on.
terrible.
I'll see you guys tomorrow. He could talk about this all night. He could do a show by himself about it. Greg, let's just leave. See you guys.
Yeah, I apologize for all the episodes on Google My Business on my podcast.
They were entertaining though.
But it was so still frustrating. But
Mm.
I've kind of learned to just give up on that and go a different route, because there's, yeah, exactly,
I had a friend of
exactly.
mine that was
If you
trying to
could,
do it for her business, and they said we need a video
hmm,
of you walking into in your parking lot, walking in, turning the key, and walking into your business.
Yep,
And so she had to do all this stuff. They still rejected it.
yep,
So I don't know how she finally got on, but she was finally able to get one. So it's just, I can't. It's
yeah,
amazing. And if you want to do a website, boom, you're up, and you're on
yep.
Google. So
it doesn't help.
I
You
don't
can't
get it.
talk to anyone real there, or
No,
you have to know
no.
someone that works at Google. Because I have a shoddy review on my E&D lawn care Google page. Guys, go fix that rating. Some guy gave me a 1-star, and I don't even know him. And I found out he'd tried to basically say that I was swore at his guys when they were doing snow. It's like I do snow with my buddies. I don't even do snow for myself. But anyways, Google, I wish you could somehow get that back up there, and maybe you should just make a new email and like try again to do it.
I've
Or
tried. I've tried that.
I might try.
Actually, I tried that
I'll,
like 3 or 4
I'll,
times.
I'll make one for you down here and see what they do from a different IP address in Metro Detroit, just
It
to see if we can trick them. Right?
from what I've learned, like their AI systems in Google, because they did have, I guess, a lot of fraud, which
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
they still have a ton of fraud. There's a lot of fraudulent businesses out there that have their listings, but they are really cracking down on like service-based businesses. So
Here's a guy.
lawn care
telling
guys
me,
are getting hit
oh, look
really
at
hard
Sutter
with that.
Brothers again, trying to do it.
Yeah. Lawn care guys are getting really hit hard with this. Pressure washing companies are getting hit hard with it. Anything that their AI deems to be suspicious, you're gone. If you change anything, you're gone. Like, and good luck getting it back. Good luck getting it back.
Frustrating. It's making me
Oh,
sad because
yeah.
this Google would help you out big time. If you put up just a picture a week on Google, that can put you at the top there of the search. But I'd still never say die with that and keep on trying with that. That's just I know you're pretty disappointed with it, but you are still growing the biz despite in spite of the fact of Google's not being your friend.
Despite
I think
their
every
best
time
or
Aaron
worst
says the word
efforts.
Google, AI sends his business page further down the blacklist. That's what Cameron says. That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
Cameron still thinks I have the 60 horsepower mower.
Yeah, when you mentioned that a couple weeks ago or a couple of days ago.
I meant to say like 60-inch mower here in the episode. I said 60 horsepower mower, and then Cameron's like, man,
It's really
I want to get one of
fast.
those. Man, if you had that, you could mow down like 3 feet. It would shoot like
It's
like
fast. Talk about
20
tip
feet
speed.
out. That would be
Yep.
so great. Yeah.
Sorry.
First
That'd be
Google.
crazy. You would think that they would put a very high horsepower engine, maybe they do, on these really long, like the X-Mark 92-inch mower deck or whatever.
Do they?
You would
Or
think
no?
they'd have like a huge engine on that thing.
What do they have on that? I don't even know.
I
I
don't
thought it
know
was a
either.
decent sized box. It was
It's got to be maybe a
box engine.
52 horsepower or something.
Yeah, I was thinking something like that. But they
Diesel?
don't stripe well. None of those bigger
No,
mowers
they're not
past
meant to
72
stripe.
None of the bigger mowers past 72 inches don't stripe, and I'm all in it for the stripes. Give me like 120-inch stripes. That'd be pretty funny just to see how apparently they just can't do that with the amount of deck, I guess, deck real estate.
Now, that's not totally true. The Ventrac 92-inch mower deck has a very hefty roller on the back, and that thing will stripe a lawn as
Hell
long as it's perfectly level.
As long as it's perfectly level.
Because
Do
you are
have
going to
experience with
scalp
this?
the crap out of a lawn if there's
Yeah.
any undulation in that thing.
Well, I just looked it up. 96-inch X Mark, 38 horsepower.
What?
Huh?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
And it's
You're
at
fired.
DK Hardware. It's a $58,000 mower.
With a
And
38
I can't.
horsepower
That
engine?
doesn't make any sense. What's this other? No, it's
Really?
40 inch. Yeah, that's what
Wow.
I'm showing. Unless,
what-
oh wait a minute, let me.
That's
That's a
crazy.
YouTube. I don't want that.
That's disappointing.
Oops. Yeah,
They'd have
that can't
at
believe
least a
that. That
50.
can't be right.
No.
Well, it's just like all these companies putting a 26 horsepower engine on a 60-inch mower.
Like the multi-force. It
Yeah.
bothers me. It's like you guys couldn't have done better. I mean, awesome machine for the capabilities of being versatile and everything. And then there they go. Who do they have deciding the horsepower for these machines? You're like, I got an idea. Let's just underpower them all, so they have to keep buying from us. That's that's probably what it is.
Yeah, I'm
That is
looking
one
up.
of
It's
the
a
things I
38
don't
horsepower
understand.
Yeah.
Huh.
38.
I'd be upset.
Yeah, 38 horsepower. I mean, they're putting a 38 horsepower on a 60-inch.
Greenscape
Um,
says no, it's right. The diesel option is 37 horsepower.
Yeah.
That's that's a little bit disappointing. I should talk to Xmark. You know what? We should just do a coalition there at the expo and be like, who's the genius that decided to put a 37 horsepower on your big hunkin' diesel? That's disappointing. Like, I'd be like, hey, let's get a 50. You want to see this thing cut? I mean, that thing must do a terrible job at processing grass then, because it's like that big.
I don't think so. Because they're rear discharge. Those bigger
just
mower decks are rear
escapes.
discharge,
Yeah.
so they're open in the back, and so their discharge is going to be fine. It's just going to lay it down, so they don't have to push it out the side. So that's probably why they don't have a need to have a much bigger engine, I would think.
Do they
because
have two rear
you're not-
discharges or just one?
Isn't there like two? If it's like
I'm
going
sure.
line? They like
Yeah,
come
I'm
out
sure.
with 3 different
It
streaks.
looks like there's two. I'm looking at a photo here. Yeah, it looks like there might be two.
It
I think
basically
there's
just
one under
farts.
the mower too. So the mower, part of the mower deck in front of the mower, right in front of the operator station, that's going to come out underneath you, and then the two on the sides, or on the
Okay.
on the side panels, coming
Yeah.
out the back.
Wow.
I mean, that
So it's
mower,
only
a rear discharge mower,
$58,000. Hey,
you can like use
let's
that for
get
like
two.
the highway or just knocking down fields where no one looks or no one cares. They basically made those mowers for we don't care, just use it to knock down grass.
Well, I think they're actually made not to knock down fields, but to just maintain. Like
Oh,
so, like
okay.
schools,
Yeah.
municipalities, things that you're gonna mow every week. That's what they're made for. Because obviously, a 37 horsepower engine on that big of a mower deck is not going to be able to handle anything that's real thick. And honestly, you're not going to care about the cut at that point either, because you're, you've only got 37 horsepower. And I mean, have you ever taken like, let's see, have you ever used like an actual weed whacker, like the ones with the blade on it, the metal blade on it,
Oh,
where you swing it with your arms, like the old style?
I've never
Try
used one.
cutting through grass. It
Ah,
is really hard.
Yeah.
So you need a lot of horsepower to get through that grass. And if you're mowing tall, thick, stocky grass like we get here in the north, like fescue, you're not going to get very far with something with only 37 horsepower and a 92-inch deck. It's
Yeah.
just not going to happen.
Yeah.
No, not at
Cameron's
all.
saying the bigger mowers aren't made for cutting tall, thick grass, made for every few days of mowing.
Yep.
Wow.
well, Aaron, I'm getting a little tired. What are you drinking before I need to go to bed
That
soon.
is good old H2O.
Hmm.
I had a gallon of that today. I got 10 yards to mow tomorrow because upgraded the shocks on the Ram. It took most of the morning. I got back. I had to scrape the mower deck, and I was going that part of the deck hard, and I cut my pinky on one of the blades, and it hurts real bad. So I got 10 tomorrow. Then we got a 4-yard mulch job that Greg will help me on with some little bushes, and we're gonna go do a tree job tomorrow too, aren't we, Greg?
Yeah, we're gonna trim a tree. I got a one of my clients has trees, tree limbs hanging down to the ground basically, and I gotta trim those up because I keep getting hit in the face by all the branches, and I like my face, so so we gotta trim those up and hopefully we'll clear that out and make it look nice. So
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because tomorrow morning, our whole family, so someone at our church, one of our elders, he has a huge willow tree. Like, I mean, it's
my
probably
my
nine
The
feet
biggest willow tree
around.
I've ever seen.
yeah,
It's the
90
trunk is
feet.
nine
Is it?
feet, nine
Oh,
feet around,
wow.
not
Oh
90.
goodness, that's a
That'd be
big willow
really
tree.
big.
It's like a
And
60 horsepower mower.
he had a couple of really huge branches come down. So guys from our church, we're going to go over there tomorrow morning and cut that up. Just
Mm.
those fallen branches could take all day. I don't know. But in my opinion, he should just cut it down, because willow trees are nothing but a nuisance.
Oh,
They're
I hate
nasty.
him.
Oh, Greg and I hate them. They drop all the horrible
Yep.
branches too. The roots get everywhere. Greg could do a memoir on why he
I
hates
refuse to.
willow trees.
If somebody approached me and I saw they had a willow tree on their yard, I'd say no, thank you.
Yep,
You
that's
know,
what
that
I
was,
do.
You know, that question that somebody asked earlier, have you ever turned down a job? That's one of my turn downs is willow trees. I just say, I'm sorry, can't do it.
I'm gonna go find
Yep.
a whole bunch of willow
I have a
trees in
cold.
Greg's
I'm
yard
sorry, I
now.
can't mow your lawn. I'll come up with any excuse I can not to mow it.
I'm washing my hair that day.
I'm allergic to the grass that's near the willow tree. Something like totally random, or just tell them the Country Club of Lansing is calling you.
I used to work at the Country Club of Lansing when I was in college.
Oh,
I love
yeah,
that drop.
that was me.
We're
Yeah.
going to do a teaser for a show, and then I got to run a teaser for a show. We want to call the Country Club of Lansing, and Greg will call and ask them if they remember him. Be like, hello, this is Greg. Do you remember me when I worked here?
Well, Steve didn't even remember me.
No.
So, yeah.
He's like, huh?
No, but I don't think anybody's left from when I worked there. Pretty sure.
Well, we're going to call him, and the Greg Durbin is
Back
going
in
to
the
make his
Caddyshack
revenant.
days.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but Aaron,
No, I wasn't a caddy.
been-
I was grounds crew. So
Well, I know, but
yeah, but yeah,
back in the early, or let's see, the mid 1900s. Is that what the young people are saying now?
that's when Greg was born. Yeah, the mid 1900s. Yeah.
mid 1900 birth time.
Oh goodness,
So,
making me
wow,
feel old.
I never
and I'm
thought
not
of
old.
it that way.
I know it.
Yeah,
Mm.
mid 1900s.
It makes you feel old.
Holy
Yeah.
smokes!
But
Well,
young
Aaron,
at heart.
it's been fun. I want to keep going, but I'm kind of I'm getting tired. So, but
Running out of steam.
yeah, that's all I got. What do you want to depart us with as I get tucked into my bed?
Don't change anything on your Google business listing, and you'll keep it just fine. And yeah, have a great season, guys. I mean, it's hard work, but it's fun work, and it's especially if you're working by yourself or just with one other guy, it can be really fun, and it can actually, well, even though it is a lot of work, it can be somewhat relaxing. So
Real quick.
enjoy your season, because before you know it, it's going to be winter.
Oh yeah,
You're going to be sitting on your butt, and you're going to be longing for the days of suffering through 90-degree heat. So even though, it's miserable right now, just wait a couple months and you will be right back into the nastiness that is winter.
hibernation mode, because I do snow with
Mhm.
my buddies. But follow the Mowing in the Dark podcast, guys. Aaron, you upload on what, Tuesday, Fridays usually, or
I
what's
try
the-
to upload
the
on
schedule?
Tuesday and Thursday.
Tuesday, Thursday. Okay.
I don't always get that. Like this week, I didn't get there, so I actually posted 2 episodes today. Really, I posted 3 episodes because I had to re-upload one because it didn't quite upload all the way. Now, when I upload it in my software or to the website that I
Yeah,
use,
Libsyn, right?
which is Libsyn, it shows the whole time of the podcast, but when you go and play it on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, it'll only have a short portion of it, like maybe 15 minutes.
That's strange.
So-
I wonder why.
So I have to
contact Libsyn?
delete it. I have to delete it off of Libsyn,
Oh, boy.
re-upload. I have to re-upload it, or actually re-edit it again, I believe, because what it probably did is there might have been a glitch with the software that I use to edit the audio, which is Audacity. And so it could have been like maybe I walked away from the computer or something, and
That's
the
frustrating.
computer, the computer went to sleep or something, and then it stops the upload. So it could be any different thing. I don't blame Libsyn for it. It's probably my fault, actually. So I just re-uploaded it, and I put in the title re-upload, because sometimes both episodes will be there, and I want people to know that it's a re-upload because the other one didn't take. So anyway, yeah, I typically do Tuesday and Thursday. Sometimes it doesn't happen, so I try to get 2 episodes a weekend.
Well, follow and subscribe. Well, if I could talk, follow and subscribe to his show, guys. He's been doing this bonfire sessions series, and I've been enjoying those. It's a good perspective. It's off the hip. It's not scripted, and it's just Aaron talking about life, not always talking about mowing. I mean, our show, Greg and I do at least a 10, 12-minute intro of just banter. Like we'll talk about the carpet consistency in his basement or something totally random. But
Or
guys,
paint.
yeah, paint. I like to watch paint dry and grass grow. And so we started the live stream like this, Greg. And now we'll end it. So, yeah.
That's,
All right,
yeah,
guys.
that's
Thanks,
exciting.
guys.
That's
Remember to
exciting.
We're
use
done.
the promo,
End the
I
show.
promo
guess.
code Cameron to save 10% off of your Subway sub. Yeah.
Heavy sigh.
Okay, yeah.
I can